Hello, everyone. We are live. It is great to see you all. Joshua, thanks for joining us for our product strategy AMA.
Awesome. Yeah. Great to be here. Thank you for setting this up, Audrey, and good to see everybody.
Of course. Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining from in the world. Thank you so much for joining us, whether you're tuning in on the community or if you're tuning in on YouTube on the live stream or if you're watching us later. We are going to get into an Ask Me Anything AMA session all around HeyGen's 2026 product strategy. I'm Audrey. I work on community here at HeyGen. And of course, we have Joshua Shu with us, our co-founder and CEO, here to answer all of your questions. Joshua, you're spending your day in and out thinking about how HeyGen is evolving, about the landscape of video and AI. So glad to have you here with us. This is a great opportunity for the community to hear directly from you what you're thinking about where HeyGen is headed next. And this session will be interactive. This is really audience driven from questions you all submitted. So thank you so much to everyone who submitted thoughtful questions when you registered. We've got tons and tons of questions you submitted in advance. So we've organized those into some key themes. We've got questions around strategy, innovation, enterprise adoption, future of AI video, and we'll go through those questions, and if we have time, we'll take some live questions as well. So feel free to submit those into the Q&A live. We'll do our best to answer them at the end. And then if you have other questions, if you have technical questions, you can always reach out to support@heygen.com. You can explore our resources. We've got some folks helping in the chat who will drop some resources as well. So with that, let's jump into it. Joshua, if we have new people joining today who are just learning about HeyGen, they're just getting started, can you give us an introduction to HeyGen and what it can do for them?
Yeah, certainly. And HeyGen is an AI video platform, especially for the purpose of producing, videos for communication purpose. So we specialize, producing the hyper-realistic avatar, and especially for format like explainer videos, training contents, long-form videos, as well as any sort of like communication purpose, business-oriented videos. And and we have two key features on the platform. One is really help people to replace the camera, which is the avatar product that we have. And you can essentially record, a short clip, get your own avatar and type a script to generate a video from it, and without having to showing up in front of a camera again. Second, we have an AI studio, and as well as our latest video agent, where we really help you to solve the editing problem. Traditionally, editing in videos has been very complicated, and there's a very steep learning curve. And we try to make that very simple. And in AI Studio, you can just simply type the script. We try to build the experience that creating a video is as simple as writing a document. And meanwhile, with the latest, agentic technology we deploy on the video agent, you can even type a prompt so that the agent will actually edit the video for you. So yeah, hopefully that give everybody a good idea about what does HeyGen do.
Awesome. Thank you for that intro. So as we're thinking about what's next, we're about 2 months into 2026, but so much of the year left. How is HeyGen defining the next phase of AI video in 2026? And what are the big bets you're making over the next 12 months, 24 months as you think ahead?
Yeah, definitely. So I think the bigger theme for us in 2026 is really about, nailing the last mile. What I meant by that is, okay, first of all, let's try to take a quick look at the overall industry. So in fact, I think the progress of the overall AI video model has been progressing, very, very fast. And some of the, latest result has been quite amazing. And, we can use a lot of, foundational model to really produce high quality of content. But when it comes to serious use case, business communication use case, and when it comes to creating a explainer video people can actually use and publish, there is always one last mile, not only on the quality side, but also how to enable our user to have a better controllability and consistency. So I think our theme has been always really centralized around that last mile, and to produce a product that made those technology actually usable and easy to use for our customers. And if we try to look at, the two big themes at HeyGen, one is like I mentioned, is really about replacing the camera. From day one, we found this product and we found the company to really try to help people to, get over the camera anxiety, and so that they can build their own avatar. So we have some very excited technology, coming very soon that, essentially you can record up to like 15 seconds of footage of yourself, then we can really produce a hyper realistic avatar version of you, not only in the view of the camera webcam like this, but also you can create a new look that essentially and outside of your camera scope. So that one's very excited. And the key idea there was that we have seen a lot of customer creating very high quality avatars, but the problem is that not every customer are able to do it. It still require you need to have a good camera footage first, and we were thinking about how can we continue to reduce that barrier and continue to make that more accessible. So that's where the new technology around the avatar comes in. And second, I would say the last mile about editing has been always around the controllability. We can easily go to any all sort of like this generic AI video model to get a footage back, but it's really really hard to control, right? Meaning making any fine tune. Making it on brand, making it, for example, I want to have a specific scene, and talk about the story a little bit differently. It's very, very hard to do. So, essentially, that's the mission of our video agent. So, video agent essentially, instead of trying to solve the whole problem with a pixel-based approach, where we try to generate every scene, every frame of the video, in fact, we try to frame it as a structural problem, and we define the video structure for the customer first, and then we fit into the different pixels as we need. Like sometimes it could be an A roll that with a human talking, sometimes it could be a B roll, sometimes it could be a motion graphics. So and then in each of those components, we enforce the controllability differently. And obviously, I think one thing very excited about is that we're going to make brand consistent output on the video agent. So previously you can set up your brand with just inputting the URL, use that in AI Studio, but very very soon we're going to have those brand consistency output from the agent too. So I guess those probably capture the two bigger themes that we have. One's about the camera, the other one's about the editing, but it's all about the last mile controllability and quality.
Awesome. Are there any, this is a good question. Are there any surprising ways, or maybe the most surprising way that you've seen a customer using HeyGen that you didn't anticipate when building it, that's shaping your strategy?
Yeah. There's certainly many examples around that. I'm trying to see what's a good one. In fact, I recently talked to a customer. I think he's based in UK. It's about the personalization at the video agent, right? So when we initially build the video agent, we have been always growing the the data in the more so on the US data. However, that customer was trying to produce some tutorial video for driving school. So essentially, he owned a driving school business, and then the problem is that in UK and the US, the drivers sit at different side of the car, and when they pull the stock image, and then we always try to put it from the US stock image. It didn't feel right to them. And then I think the customer was trying to like prompt the agent that, all right, can I have a different image? It was very hard to like achieve that because the agent didn't understand what does it mean by that. So I think that really give us a very strong hint about, in order to build a great video agent, build a great product experience for creating a video, the regional preference, the user level customization is very important. We didn't blend that, in the video agent design in the very beginning, but that was turns out to be very important. Like we can easily imagine that there's a lot not only on the driving school example, but I'm sure there's a different region of the world. There are different cultures. People want the avatar look slightly different in different outfit and deliver the message in a different way. And we want to have a motion graphics, maybe blend in those cultural elements, and has something on top of our mind. And in fact, we recently introduced something called memory in the in the video agent, where memory was trying to really capture the a person level preference. Whenever you do some instruction on the video agent, we try to capture that so that we confirm with you, hey, is this your future preference? It could be music preference, it could be the style of the motion graphics, it could be some information about your business, so that we can actually write a better script to cater to those use case better. But obviously, there's a still long way to go, I would say. But that has been something really shaping our roadmap, and that was something we did not anticipate in the very beginning when we built it.
Nice. Maybe related, I mean, customer demand is one element of this, but we've got another question around market signals that you're thinking about that are influencing our roadmap. Customer demand, competitive pressure, business trends. Are you thinking about other market signals that are informing roadmap?
I would say there are largely two category of signals we integrate to the roadmap. The number one category, which is the most important one, is understanding what our customer need and what the customer trying to do with HeyGen, and what is the frustration they have, and what are the things that we're not doing good job. And I think we gather those feedback by simply just talk to interview a lot of customers. And we have a team of product manager, we have an engineer. We all do a lot of user interview every day, every week. And and that's the biggest category. The second category of signal, I call it, is deep understanding about the technology, and being able to incorporate those technology. And it is our job to basically come up with a good interface for our customer when we understand the problem. So I think being able to like incorporate the latest technology trend and what is possible and what will be possible in 6 months from now, what would be possible 12 months from now, what may not be possible even 2 years from now. I think having deep understanding about that technology, landscape, and then try to blend these two signal together, and that's kind of a shape our product roadmap. And one thing I have to say is, you know, the customer feedback, customer behavior are relatively stable, meaning, and people just want to create a nice video. However, on the other category, which is the technology side, has been very fluid, right? Especially in the past 12 months, as we can see, the progress on the AI video model has been, evolving super, super fast. I think our job is to really try to capture that, and then try to design the roadmap around it. And in fact, I think we have always been quite pioneering in terms of innovation. We started working on our video agent. I would say probably almost a year ago. So I think last year, maybe around March or April, we saw the opportunity that you can actually, use agentic technology to help people to solve the editing problem. So we started investing on those technology. And second, on the avatar side, we've been always, been leading ahead on defining what's possible with those experiences look like. Yeah.
Awesome. Maybe a follow-up question for that of how do you, in the fluid landscape of video, how do you decide when to build, when to partner, also when we expand via API, or to sunset a feature?
Yeah, so great question. So first of all, um, we don't think about essentially. I want to say that we don't have a we don't have a sort of a principle to decide when do we use a vendor or when do we just build on our own. I think the North Star here is that whatever can provide a better customer experience, we always lean in. It could be coming from the a vendor solution, no problem. We're happy to use the vendor solution. But in a lot of those cases, though, when we talk about what HeyGen is working on is the last mile experience, we usually don't find a lot of vendor space in this problem. Because I think a lot of the application company are really focused on, sort of like generic, more horizontal way. But when it comes to really the last mile problem, we had to make some decision to like build it on our own, right? One example would be the avatar technology. From day one, we knew that, in order to get to that level of the realism and quality and control, we have to build that technology in-house, and we have to build that model from end to end. And that has been one of the best decisions we have made in the product building experience. And on the other hand, and I think one thing we're doing differently in 2026 is that we are certainly more open to building up the developer community with our partners. And I think historically that was not the one of the a big priority for the product roadmap, because we are really trying to like focus on the product experience in app. However, with all this agentic, ecosystem evolving, and we are clearly seeing a lot of, customer already having success building on top of our HeyGen API, and we just want to double down on that. So, there are some very interesting, very excited updates about, the developer offering around that. Last question is about when do we decide to sunset a feature? I would say that probably happened on a on a regular basis, I would say. And one thing I want to share is that when we look at the product roadmap, it's not only about what do we want to ship. What's very important to keep the product cohesive and build a good product experience is that it's also deciding what to unship. And in this AI era, we will certainly gonna try out a lot of different initiatives, and to test different ideas and test different experience. And then, but not all of them will work, and in fact, a lot of them will not work. And I think in those cases, we will basically unship from a customer. And not everybody is going to see all the experimental features, because we usually run it in a A/B test way. Like for example, there's some certain country with maybe some certain percentage of user will actually see this experience, and the other segment of the customer will see a different experience. And in fact, I think we are in a constant ship and unship phase. But overall, though, we try to keep majority of the user experience very, very stable. I think that has been, one thing, on top of our mind. And because we have a large enough user base of scale, we can, just take some traffics to really test out some of the ideas. And sometimes we also need to make a hard decision to unship some of the production features. And that's where we think about, oh, that piece of the experience of UX may not align with the long-term experience, and we probably don't want to like continue to invest on that, because first of all, it overcomplicate the product experience. Second, we fundamentally didn't believe that was the best experience for our user to accomplish that task that way. So I think that sometimes we also kind of do it that way too. Yeah, hopefully that give everybody an idea about how we're thinking about this.
Yeah, I think that's great. That's great insight into how a product is built and shipped and unshipped. We've got a couple questions around some of our core products and what people can expect going forward, especially around the shift to autonomous video agents. How are you thinking about evolving from text to video towards more autonomous video agents? And what level of end-to-end automation can customers expect?
Yeah, so when I try to think about, you know, um, the role of video agent, right? So I will always want to come back to like two, big components we're trying to solve as a company. One is the camera, and the other one's editing. And usually, when you need to create a video, you need to film it with a camera and with some footage first. And once you have those footage, and you're gonna put it into like editing mode, you're gonna edit the video and then publish that. So we have strong conviction the technology path we go down to the technology around avatar, digital twin, hyper realistic, human centric video model that's gonna solve the camera problem. And and then it comes to editing. And initially we tried to solve the editing problem by building a document-like interface that doesn't require people to learn, the complicated interface of, the traditional video editing software. However, we also realize that that's not enough. There's a lot of users, there's a lot of customers. They just want something to be done. In fact, they don't even want to engage with any sort of interface. So that's where the video agent came in. Ideally, our North Star on building a video agent is that you would have someone like a professional video editor sit right next to you. And then you can just talk to this person. All right, send them the request. What do you want to create? This is what I have. I want you to have the video for this purpose, and that video editor is gonna build it for you, right? And then we want to mimic that experience completely on the product, where you can actually similar talking to the real video editor. You can just talk to our video agent, interact that way. And it could be on the UI, it could be on email, it could be on any sort of like message channel that you just share those contents with them, get back, and you give feedback. They continue to iterate. So that's the North Star. And when it comes back to and where we're at right now, right? So now you can actually interact with our video agent on our main app. We have a prompt box. You can give feedback, share context with them. We also recently enabled that experience in ChatGPT. By the way, you can in fact talk to HeyGen's video agent in ChatGPT, so that it can capture those context and conversation from your workflow. And if we continue to evolve this, it would basically certainly evolve into the North Star. I would say it really depends on how complicated the task is. I guess it would be very very autonomous. In fact, ideally, the experience we are imagining would be, let's say you have a video editor, you have been working with that person for like, I don't know, 6 months for 10 different projects. And then the video editor will really understand, your content taste, your brain kit, what you're looking for, right? So I think that level of the personalization is very important. And I think our ultimate, North Star of video agent is that really building someone that feels like a video editor sit right next to you. And then, with the power of, video avatar that we really replace the camera for our customer, we can unlock the video production that way.
Awesome. I think this is a perfect segue from agent into our next question we have around avatar realism on the side of replacing the camera. What advancements can customers expect around realism, motion, emotion, interactivity for avatars?
Yeah. There are a few things when it comes to how to define a avatar, a better avatar. So the number one important thing, which is also one thing that we have been actively working on, when it comes to creating an avatar for yourself, and how can the avatar feels like, it looks like you, sounds like you, and moves like you. And when I say that, and in fact, whenever a user comes to create their own avatar, they have a different level of expectation of their own avatar. And it happens very often that, oh, I thought this avatar is great for Adam. And then, in fact, Adam said, hey, I actually don't like it. And Adam's our product manager in the avatar. So Adam said, hey, Joshua, this new video is perfect. And then I told him, hey, Adam, actually, I didn't feel like that represent the real way how I, deliver a message, right? I think really being able to capture that, personal level of how they move and how they deliver is very, very important. And that has been one of the most important, priority for us. And, we can say that you can easily upload image to tools like View 3 or Sora 2 to produce a video about you. But essentially, it doesn't really look like you in the real setup. And meaning and our criteria would be always like in the business communication setup or scenario, would you actually use that video to deliver a message to your company or to your customers? And that's really, really how we set the bar. And yeah, we have some very exciting technology around how we are improving that. If we're gonna have a version of avatar, we really, really look like you, with a minimal of footage we need to gather from you. So that's one. Second, beyond we get to that level, it's more about controllability and and the dynamics of the scene, right? And things like being able to control the gesture, being able to configure camera movement. In fact, those are already proven technology in the AI video space that I'm sure people are seeing a lot of those in the cinematic applications. And then we're going to bring those into the avatar application where you can actually control your camera. Maybe the camera move it like this way slowly. Maybe we zoom in like this way, or we're going to actually enable more gesture interaction. Maybe I can, while I'm delivering my message, I can interact with the object, in front of camera, things like that. So those would be the second stage, I would say. Um, I have to say the first one is much harder to nail because this is not a completely data-driven problem. And every user, like I mentioned, every user, every have a different preference. Sometimes people want them to look like differently, and some in different direction. So in fact, I think one of the things that we are just getting a lot of mixed feedback. But in fact, some people want to put it this way, some users want to go for that way. That's where the challenging part about that component. But we do have some progress on building the personalization layer around that. So which I think something we should expect in the next few months.
Awesome. We have another avatar question around multi-avatar conversations. And is that something people could expect to be able to have multi-avatar conversations?
Yeah. So that would be probably the one stage after when I mentioned about more um, controllability around the camera movement as well as the gesture movement. I would consider that as a stage two. We do have plan around it, but I just want to give a heads up that that's how the way how we're thinking about it. Stage one, really nail the consistency of the personal avatar. Stage two about controllability, not only around the avatar itself, but also the camera movement, things like that. Stage two, yeah, we are going to enable the multi-person scene.
Awesome. Cool. I'm going to look at, we have some live questions coming in too, so I'm going to take a look at those.
Yep.
Let's see. I think this is interesting around, can you share your thoughts on where you think human produced video, does it still play a role in learning, and where avatars play a role between avatar video and human filmed video?
Is that question more about in the learning space or general?
The question does say it's specifically in learning.
Got it. Yeah. So I think when you try to look at, I mean, I personally is the person that watch a lot of YouTube video. By the way, on YouTube, I basically watch what I call is a long form explainer videos. I want to learn about different piece of knowledge and things like that. When I try to look at those, right, I think in fact the idea and the story and the content itself is more important to me. When we try to think about that way, I think HeyGen, especially for learning content, is the content that I describe it as a very high information density, very high knowledge density, and then and those and then usually the format doesn't need to be as flexible, as complicated as a cinematic videos, right? So okay, for those type of content, obviously the first most important thing would be the knowledge. And how do you structure the knowledge? How would you explain the knowledge in a simple way? What type of knowledge you want to share with the audience is always the most important part. And so I would say that has to be solved by the human. I don't think AI can be doing a very good job over there. However, though, once you have an idea how you want to, describe it, how you want to, explain it, I do think AI would be, doing much better job in translating that content into a video. So in that case, you can think about in the scenario of a video agent. Video agent is a video visualization layer, right? What is the input? The input is the idea, is the content. The output is the video. I think that would be the piece that I would definitely envision that more and more AI is gonna, taking over that over probably human to produce those type of content, for the audience to consume in the future. And then, in fact, I think that's also a good thing for human as a creator because we can spend more time on focus on the content itself and producing more content. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, I've got another live question. This is around security. How secure are avatars on the HeyGen platform? What standards are in place to support the security and consent around avatars?
Yeah, great question. So I think first of all, we take trust and safety seriously. We are probably, we have always required the first party consent from our customer in order for us to produce any, avatar for them in the especially around the hyper realistic avatar. And I think I want to share the philosophy how we are thinking about it. And certainly we got a lot of feedback. How can we lose the security check for a lot of customer because there's always run into some issues. However, we think there's one thing that's very important because we own the best technology, because the technology is very, very powerful. So we felt, the responsibility to actually protect the avatar and protect the Linux about everybody trying to create with HeyGen. So if you look at how the consent process work, right? Even though we would reduce the time of collecting your footage, but the consent is always very important. In the consent, you are required to record a video with you first party consent with a random generated passcode, so that we will verify that against the background script that we have. And I think that piece has been going very well. And in fact, in order to keep that secure, but also try to make it more accessible, we also develop a feature, try to be able to people can scan a QR code on their phone to do it as well. And I would say, as technology become better and better, I certainly see that, especially I would say in 2026, trust and safety and protecting people's likeness, managing people's identity layer is going to be a very important topic in 2026. And it may not be the main topic the industry has been talking about in the past because technology was not quite there. But you can see that and HeyGen sort of like produced our first realistic avatar version sometime around 2 years ago. And then we started to develop this, trust and safety framework. And now, if you try to look at the overall, general purpose video agent video model, it kind of hit to that level very soon. I think that's going to be something is worth every company to think about, and also it's worth for every customer to think about how would you make sure that and which partner, which vendor do you want to work with to manage your identity, because that piece would be probably one of the most important assets for anybody in the AI era: your likeness, your identity, your avatar. So yeah, I think that's kind of like the way how we think about it.
Awesome. Thanks for answering that one. I know that, yeah, it's top of mind. It's great for people to think about themselves and to know what goes on behind the scenes at HeyGen. I know we're getting close to our time, so maybe we can end on a question around business impact. where you think AI video wins, and where you think AI video will create the biggest business impact in 2026.
Yeah, so um, I think certainly when I, try to look at it, there's a two large category of use case. AI videos playing a lot of impact from the customer that we see. One is the internal communication. When I say internal, I didn't mean to say only about the video produced by internal communication team. However, there's many internal videos like learning development, product updates. In fact, at HeyGen, we send all the product updates using HeyGen's video. In fact, we our growth team use HeyGen's video to serve as a stand-up purpose. And instead of going to the meeting, which each person talk about their updates, we just ship all the agent videos so that we can watch them all in before the meeting, right? So I certainly see that the AI video try to capture the content, the knowledge, the information in a more efficient way, and make it more efficient for people to create those content, making it more efficient for people to consume those content. So I think that internal communication use case is going to continue to propagate as the tool become easier, the content become better. And I think another thing that makes me more excited about is we're seeing more customers use the tool for external communication. Meaning, I'm creating a video about my brand, about my business, and to send it to like some customers to send it to prospect, or even put it onto my website and send it to serve as advertising video. I think those are become a more and more popular use case for a lot of business as well, because the quality just become better and better. I think we can see the adoption curve on any sort of like the creative level technology. Would be first of all, it will always start propagating in the internal use case, because usually the bar of the quality is lower. However, as the quality become better and better, we're gonna see a lot more use case on the external side. So I think the external side, obviously marketing is the biggest one. But when we talk about marketing, marketing is also a very broad, use case. There are many, many different areas in marketing. Like product marketing would be one. I clearly see there's a huge impact out there. I think AI video can play. In fact, I'm not sure the audience have checked out our online courses from HeyGen. We actually produce the entire course from end to end using HeyGen. And I can clearly see that every company should have that. Every business, every product should have those, right? Because those content are naturally editable. Whenever we update the product, we can just update the job at HeyGen. Second, those content are naturally multilingual. In fact, you can produce once and then you can reach the global audience. I think those are the exciting use case around the marketing, I would say. And obviously, I think explainer video just one thing. When we talk about explainer videos, you can we can say a lot of explainer video format internal communication purpose, but in fact there's actually a lot of explainer videos are external purpose, like explaining your product, explaining the brand ideas, things like that. Yeah, so I think that would be kind of like the way how we kind of foreseeing how the landscape would look like.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Joshua. I think we'll end there on that last question. Thank you to everyone for attending our product strategy AMA webinar today. We will share the replay. We've recorded it and we'll share the replay with everyone. It'll be posted on our events page. We'll send out an email with the link as well. And we would love if you took our short survey that'll come to your email. Let us know what you thought. Let us know what you would like to see in the future from these webinars going forward. And we appreciate everyone's thoughtful questions, all the engagement. We know we didn't get to everyone's questions, so we'll keep doing these sessions, and you can come revisit the replay. And of course, you can always reach out to our customer support if you need anything in the interim. There's lots of links into the chat. Definitely check out HeyGen Academy, like Joshua was mentioning, made with HeyGen. Those videos are fantastic, a great place to start. So thank you everyone for joining. Thank you so much, Joshua, for taking the time today.
Cool, thank you.